Hello everybody and welcome back to our channel English Grammar with Amaya sir. And what is the topic for today? Well, the topic for today is affirmative and negative statements. So what are affirmative statements, what are negative statements, and how to go about transforming them? So you have the command make it a negative sentence, make it an affirmative sentence. So how to go about those, we'll learn that in this video. By the way, this concept of affirmative negative is also referred to in grammar as polarity. So they are poles apart. It's a positive statement and a negative statement. So they are poles apart and they are called polarity. What are affirmative statements? Well, they are devoid of words such as no, not, and never. So they will never have these words. A negative statement conveys negativity with the use of the three words mentioned above. So it will have the words no, not, never. When I say we'll have not in them, well, it can be in various forms. So look at the following examples here. Isn't is actually is not. Aren't is actually are not. Mustn't is must not, and hadn't is had not. So here you can see that they are the contractions, they're the contracted form, but it includes not, and which makes it negative. Also, I would like you to take a good look at the spelling here. It's mustn't, M-U-S-P, mustn't, not M-U-S-N directly. Most students go wrong with that. Next point is how to go about the transformation. So the following things is what you must keep in mind to bring about the transformation, that is from an affirmative to negative and vice versa. First of all, the tense must remain the same. The tense must not change. So if the question is posed in the present tense, the answer must be in the present tense. If the question is in the past tense, well, you will retain the past tense. The second point is that the meaning of the sentence must not change. That's a very important point here. The meaning of the sentence, the idea that you want to communicate must not change just because you are changing from positive to negative or vice versa. Next point. A positive degree can also be a negative statement. Well, at first glance, it does seem very ironic. A positive degree and a negative statement. So let's take a look at this beautiful example here. Raghav is taller than Sam. So I'm saying that Raghav is taller than Sam, which means that Sam is not as tall as Raghav. But in making it a positive degree, I've used the word not, which means that it has become a negative statement. I've not changed the tense here. Notice that it is present tense and I've retained that. And at the same time, I've not changed the meaning because Raghav is taller than Sam, which means that Sam is not as tall as Raghav. So the meaning also remains the same. When you use no sooner than, it is also a negative statement. So let's look at this example. As soon as the bell rang, the children came out of their classrooms. No sooner did the bell ring than the students came out of their classroom. So when you express this, you use no sooner, and that made it negative. So you will find out that making it negative involves other grammar topics as well. And there's going to be one more, which is so that. So that also conveys negativity. So for example, he was too weak to talk. He was too weak to talk. And then you can write, he was so weak that he could not talk. So he was so weak that he couldn't talk. This makes it negative because you're going to have to use could not to express the same idea. Again, bear in mind that the past tense was retained and the idea has not been changed. Now, when you bring about the transformation from affirmative to negative, there are some typical words that will change, which you can see in the table here. So very few becomes not many. Always in the positive will become never in the negative. Unable will become not able when you make it negative by adding this prefix un. And here I want to add that there are other suffixes which you can use. For example, if you want to say not regular, then it is not unregular, then it will be irregular. If you want to express not allowed, then you can say disallowed. If you want to say correct, then it is incorrect. Proper is improper, something like that. So using suffixes is also a very nice idea to while making it a positive statement, an affirmative statement. Everyone will become no one. Rarely, not often, sometimes in a positive idea will become not always while expressing it in negative, ever, never, all, and none. So I would recommend that you can pause the video if you want to make a list of it in your notebook and study it for future reference. Now we will see interesting examples. These are very important examples to study, and you would simply love them, of how to bring about the transformation when it comes to such exceptional sentences. So for example, I am a teacher. Most common answer, the commonest answer that you will get from the students is I am not a teacher. Well, that's the first thing that you will get. The other one is I am a student. Well, because they think that if I am a teacher, then I am a student will make it negative, or I am not a teacher, or I will not be a teacher. Well, these are all wrong. The correct answer is I am no one but a teacher. That's the best answer. I am no one but a teacher. I repeat, I am a teacher. Make it negative. Well, you can't say I am not a teacher, because then you will be blatantly changing the meaning. The line wants to convey that you are a teacher. And then if you say I am not a teacher, well, you're altering the meaning. In fact, you're saying the opposite. So I am a teacher. I am no one but a teacher. It's a nice way of transforming it. Remember that you're going to have exercises at the end of this video. Another interesting example is using only he, or only she, only they, something like that. Only he can draw this picture. No one but he can draw this picture. That is the way you will make it negative. And if they had given you the statement, no one but he can draw this picture, and they would have asked you to make it affirmative, you would have written only he can draw this picture. Moving on to the more interesting examples. Vikram was the first to enter the class. Now the answer here is not Vikram was not the last to enter the class. Again, if you ask this to even scholars, they'll come up with this answer first, because they think that the best way to make it negative is if he was the first to come in the class, well, he was not the last. But if think about it, if he is not the last, doesn't mean that he was first. He could be second last, he could be third last. Well, the best answer is no one entered the class before Vikram. Again, let's do it one more time. No one entered the class before Vikram. Now you made it negative, but you have absolutely not changed the meaning. Because if you're saying no one entered the class before Vikram, that means Vikram must have been the first to enter the class. So I want you to really go through these fantastic examples, because if you know them, then your knowledge about this affirmative negative topic is complete, I would say. Use of hardly is a very important tool while making the sentence affirmative. It's a commonest idea, and if you are confused about the word commonest, you can use the dictionary. English has its own way of surprising you. Commonest is indeed the right superlative. Example, there was no one in the class. There was hardly anyone in the class. And there's another way to do it. Alternatively, you could say the class was empty. So there was no one in the class is negative, because you have the use of the word no here. And when you say the class was empty, you're making it affirmative. But a popular idea is to use hardly. There was hardly anyone in the class. However, as an English teacher, I'll say the class was empty is a better answer. I am saying this in the capacity of an English mentor, that this answer holds a higher value than simply using the word hardly. But nobody's going to chop your marks off for that. But saying that the class was empty is the exact opposite to saying that there was no one in the class. So always go for a perfect answer. But yes, hardly is a very important way to get out of it. And now the exercise. So transform the following sentences into affirmative or negative. And what that means is that you can pause the video and well, get a pen and paper, solve this exercise, pause the video, because after this, in the next slide, you will have the answers. So when you are ready with your answers, I suggest then you can continue the video. And well, of course, I hope that you will do it sincerely. So you can pause the video now. Well, and I hope that you had paused the video, and I'll now take you to the answers. Well, here are the answers. I want you to sincerely check them, and in your comments, do leave your score. It's very important. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next video, as I always say, keep learning, keep enjoying, keep getting better at English. And thank you so much for watching this video. Up until next time, bye bye.